Hi guys, Dominic Raab, remember him. He is currently the Deputy Prime Minister, but also a backer of Rishi Sunak. Frankly, I think the former Chancellor should just pack up and go home. This charade is over and Liz Truss is clearly the favourite. With that in mind, Cathy Newman of Channel 4 News asked Raab a very interesting and pertinent question. Why isn't Rishi Sunak, Boris Johnson and Liz Truss sitting down together to work out a package of support for people who are facing oblivion this autumn and winter? And his response was interesting.
I made the obvious point that we're walking an economic tightrope, and if we don't make the right calls, particularly on inflation, not only would it do serious harm to the economy and the jobs and the livelihoods, but of course it will have electoral consequences. And that's why I've always thought that Rishi Sunak has the right plan consistently throughout this campaign. Inflation is public enemy number one, and until we get that down, we won't be able to do all the other things like tax cuts. So that's the most important thing. And I think the course of this leadership contest has vindicated that. Everything that's been said by the Bank of England, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, the announcement from Ofgem on the energy cap, that this is really the most important issue because inflation eats away at savings, it eats away at salaries and wages, and risks, if we don't get it under control, pushing mortgage interest rates up.
Given how many worries there are, how anxious people are about the cost of living, whether it's the cost of food or energy prices or mortgage rates and so on, isn't it cruel that the two contenders haven't sat down together and hammered out an emergency plan with the current Prime Minister?
Well, in fairness, because of the package that the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak as Chancellor, put together, there is a £37 billion package of support. That includes the increase in universal credit worth £1,000 for those that qualify, the increase in the national living wage.
Okay, but that was based on the price cap back in, what was it, July or May or sometime like that, when it was much lower. Yeah, prices were going up at that during that period of time, and the government said we need to step in and provide some sort of support. But that was based on figures and inflation rates much lower than today and much lower than tomorrow.
Another £1,000, the tax cut through national insurance worth around £300, and of course there's going to be that £400 relief on energy bills coming in October.
Yeah, but that's all small beer if you're looking at 22% increase in inflation.
I don't think it's... Well, the inflation is not that high, and we want to see it come.
You have to laugh, otherwise you cry. Inflation is not that high. Inflation is predicted to hit 22%. This prediction was made by Goldman Sachs. Okay, now Goldman Sachs have been around for a while, so, you know, you can either trust Goldman Sachs or you can trust Dominic Raab. I know who I would trust. Now, it's a prediction, okay? It's based on data at the moment. Things could change. But normally, a government, if they want to deal with a problem that's coming down the road, they don't ignore the data presented by experts. Yes, I know when it comes to Brexit, it's all about ignoring the experts. But let's say, if you want to ignore Goldman Sachs for a moment, another bank, that was Citibank, said that inflation is going to hit 18.6%. And Dominic Raab's response to all of this is, well, we're not there yet. So we don't actually have to do anything because we haven't hit 18.6% inflation rate yet, or we haven't hit 22% yet. So when we hit 22%, then we're actually going to do something.
Down, and that's why I think Rishi Sunak is the best candidate, because he's the one that's focused on it.
Of a bad bunch, Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak is probably the better of the three. Boris Johnson is on his way out, so that it's probably not even a real choice here. But between Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, at least Rishi Sunak has a sort of understanding of what the problem is. But it's a bit pointless at this stage, because he's not going to be the next Prime Minister. It's going to be Liz Truss. And Liz Truss's response to all of this is, I'm going to cut taxes. And the experts are saying that's not going to work. It's not going to bring down inflation. Inflation, I hope this is not the case. I hope that Goldman Sachs are wrong here. but inflation of 22%. How are people supposed to survive that? How are businesses supposed to survive? And then all the others, hospitals, schools, care homes, charities, how are they supposed to survive 22% inflation? They can't. I don't know. There has to be some hope here. And the only hope I can come up with is that Liz Truss will eventually see the light. She will realise, wow, bloody hell, I need to stop listening to the ERG for a moment and actually listen to the experts. That's the only hope I have. Because the alternative is her just listening to the ERG and their response is cut taxes, help out the rich. You know, the money will eventually trickle down to everyone else. Because those people are going to be perfectly fine. They're happy to see tax cuts go to the rich because they are the rich themselves. They're going to benefit from it, or their supporters are going to benefit from it. Ordinary people will not. That's what the experts are saying. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.